In Burkina Faso, soldiers staged a revolt in several army bases to demand the departure of army chiefs and better means to fight extremists. The army uprising is the latest threat to President Roch-Marc Christian Kaboré in the face of jihadist violence that struck the country in 2015. On the streets, many reclaim the need for change at the top. We support the soldiers, they must resist. We have heard that the army is going to take over, and we support the army. Tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, we always support the army. We, the population, really went out to support this struggle. May they go further, because what we really want is a truly united nation, because Burkina Faso has been scattered. The government reacted by acknowledging gunfire in army barracks, but denied a takeover by the army. According to government sources, discussions have started between representatives of the armed forces and the Minister of Defense, General Barthélemy Simpore. Earlier in the day, supporters of the soldiers set fire to the headquarters of the ruling party before being dispersed by the police. On Saturday, incidents broke out in Ouagadougou and other cities between police and demonstrators who defied the ban on gathering to protest against insecurity in the country. Civil society groups in the city of Goma in DRC's North Kivu province came out on the streets on Saturday to protest against the growing insecurity in the city. The demonstration took place while the city is still under a state of siege implemented last May. This week, at least 4 people have been shot and killed by gunmen. We called on the population to mourn the young people murdered during this period of the state of siege, but we were surprised to see the police who came to disperse the demonstrators with tear gas. People who just wanted to mourn the dead because it's already too much, several deaths during this state of siege. Many were shocked by the repression from the authorities, who used tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse the crowds. Me, as a resident of Goma, I just joined my fellow citizens, the young people who are presenting their indignation. Because it's not fair to be able to lose 4 young people in less than 72 hours. So my presence here is not in terms of organization, but in terms of supporting other young people, because I'm also outraged. The authorities arrested at least 4 demonstrators on Saturday. The city of Goma is home to more than 2 million people. A court in South Africa has heard a bid by indigenous people seeking to halt the construction of Amazon's Africa head office on a sacred site outside Cape Town.
We will give not only this generation, but the 7 generations into the future for which we are responsible, something tangible to hold on to in the process of finding the pathway to restoration, restitution, and recognition of First Nations people.
Besides the rights of indigenous people, the court challenge also questions the environmental approvals for the site.
So in essence, our argument is that the cultural heritage rights, particularly of indigenous people, are being infringed by this construction, and that it ought to be stopped until such time as the court has decided on the validity of the authorizations which permit it.
Last year, city authorities approved the construction of a 9-story business and residential complex on the site of a former golf course. A touring exhibition dedicated to American rapper and actor Tupac Shakur opened this Friday in Los Angeles. The exhibition explores the life and legacy of the artist considered to be amongst one of the most prolific in hip-hop of his generation. Tupac Shakur died in 1996 at the age of 25 years old.
We really wanted to be able to give context to who Tupac was. Preconceived notions, 25 years of media, 30 years of media shows one side, as we know, as I speak to the media. But there's such a deeper meaning in who he was, not only his lyrics and his poetry, but who he was as a man and the things that he was speaking about, both writing poetry as a child, the poetry that becomes songs as a young man, and obviously his legacy since his passing 25 years ago. We built this space really as a way to honor him and what he means as a true revolutionary spirit.
The exhibition also features a space dedicated to Tupac's mother, Afeni Shakur, a former Black Panther who inspired the work of her son. She died in 2016.
Yeah, we're hoping that people can walk his life in his shoes. You walk through his mother's life, which again, when giving context to who he is, you have to explain who his mother was. So you walk through her gallery and you get to his childhood and you get to see the beginnings of where he starts to write his poetry, and you get to the chaos of 2.5 years of the craziness of his career with not only the music but the movies that he was in. You get a glimpse into his work in the studio and the music there. You get to see that creative process.
The exhibition contains handwritten lyrics, poetry, music and clothing, as well as items related to his campaigning as an activist. Voters in Senegal went to the polls on Sunday to elect local representatives in what many see as a test for President Macky Sall and the opposition. It's the first election in the country since last year's deadly riots after opposition leader Ousmane Sonko was arrested. For many, voting in local elections is about solving local issues. It was very important for me to come and do my duty because we are talking about the municipality. So it is up to us to choose someone who is ready to work for the municipality, someone who is ready to accompany us for the next 5 years. I'm happy to have voted because it is an act of citizenship and it is up to us to elect mayors to have a clean and well-maintained municipality. Around a third of Senegal's 17 million people are eligible to vote. The poll takes place 5 months ahead of a general election, the first time since Macky Sall was re-elected in 2019.